गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन जमुनातीरा वनचारी जमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्री श्री अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Welcome everyone to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam session. We'll begin with, please accept my respectful obeisances first, and we will begin with reading Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. We are on page 881. I'm using the book here. Prabhupada often related his preaching to events of particular interest to his audience, such as Calcutta's political unrest or the downfall of Vedic culture. Yet his concern for local affairs was only the practical necessity of the moment, for he was beyond India. He was thinking of people, places, and activities all around the world. In answering his letters, he would deeply ponder matters in England, Australia, Hawaii, and New Vrindavan. And beyond this, he would always be thinking of Krishna. He wanted to glorify Krishna throughout the world. India happened to be his present field. The devotees in India had the privilege of closely observing observing Prabhupada in his preaching. His superior tolerance and kindness both inspired them, and by contrast, exposed to them their own inadequacies. As newcomer to India, the devotees were still greatly involved with the practical affairs of living in Calcutta. Weather, disease, and culture shock distracted their minds from Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada's presence, his preaching, and his example reminded him that reality was beyond the body. Sometimes the devotees criticized certain of Prabhupada's visitors. They met Indians who sat with Prabhupada and presented a facade of godliness, but who later smoked cigarettes and showed other signs of low character. Once a group of devotees complained to Prabhupada about these hypocritical Indians, but Prabhupada told them the story of the bee and the fly. The bee, he explained, always looks for honey, and the fly for a nasty sore or infection. A devotee should be like the honeybee and see the good in others, not like the fly looking for the faults. Prabhupada's disciples discovered that the best way to learn to live in India was to follow exactly what Prabhupada did. When taking prasadam with him at someone's home, they would eat the same foods as he and in the same order. When he would finish, they would finish. And when he would wash his hands, they would wash. Life in India was strange, even bewildering, and Prabhupada's disciples did not have Prabhupada's vision of his mission in India, but they were following him like little ducks wherever he went. As the devotees came closer to Prabhupada and witnessed more of his unique qualities, they came to love him more than ever. Sitting in his room on a white cushion and leaning back on the white bolster, Prabhupada appeared golden hued and regal despite his simple surroundings. The devotees could see that he was unaffected by his surroundings, whether in Los Angeles, where he had lived comfortably amid opulence, or in Calcutta. He was at home in India, but not but he was not just another Indian, not even just another Indian sadhu. He was unique, and he was theirs. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam session. We are on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, verse number 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं हृदयन्तस्तो हि अभद्राणि विवृणोति सुहृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीर्. So we can begin by reading the by reciting the verse. तन्मे भवन्नरादेव भीमाना मदेन तुच्छ्रित सतमस्य कृशिष्ट मैत्रीदृशम् अर्थबन्धो यथा तरे सद् अवध्यानम् अमहः. Avadhyanam तन्मे भवान्नरादेव भीमानामदेना तुच्छ्रिता सतमस्य कृशिष्टमैत्रीदृशम् आर्तबन्धो यथा तरे सद् अवध्यानम् अमः तन्मे भवान्नरादेव भीमानामदेना तुच्छीकृता सतमस्य कृशिष्टमैत्रीदृशम् आर्तबन्धो यथा तरे सद् अवध्यानम् अमः. Are there volunteers who would want to recite this verse?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavata Pranam, I am trying.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, please.
Tanme bhavan naro deva bhimana madena tuchikrita saptamasya shishta maitri dishamarta bandho jatha tore shat abadana mamaha. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavata Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Tanme bhavan narodeva bhimano modena tuchikrita sattamasya krishishta maitri drishamarto bandho yatha tare sad abodhyanam amaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna,
Mataji, go ahead. Naike Mataji,
No,
go ahead.
no, carry on, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Pranam.
तन्मे भवान्नरदेवा भीमान मदेन तुच्छीकृतसत्तम् अस्य कृशिष्ट मैत्रीदृशम् आर्तबन्धो यथा तरे सद् अवधानम् अंह. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Vita, Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Tanme bhavan naradev bhimana madena tuchi kritya satyamasya krishita maitri drisham artha bandho yatha tare sat avadhyanam amhaha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Vita.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
will try. Tanme bhavannara deva bhimana madena tuchkrita satyamasya krishta maitra drishtam arthabandho yathatare sada sat agadhyana amaha. Thank you, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
Tanme bhavan deva bhiman madena tuchikrit satmasya krishisht maitri drishmart bandho yatha tarev sadvadhyana mamaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much, everyone. Is there anybody else? Okay, so we'll begin with synonym translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That therefore, me unto me, Bhavan, your good self, Naradeva Abhimanam Madena, by madness due to having the body of a king and thus being proud of it. Tuchikrita, who has insulted. Sattamasya, you who are the best among human beings. Krishishta, kindly show. Maitri Drisham, your causeless mercy upon me like a friend. Artha Bandho, O friend of all distressed persons. Yatha, so. Tare, I can get relief from. Sat Avadhyanam, neglecting a great personality like you. Amhaha, the sin. Translation: whatever you have spoken appears to me to be contradictory. O best friend of the distressed, I have committed a great offense by insulting you. I was puffed up with false prestige due to possessing the body of a king. For this I have certainly become an offender. Therefore, I pray that you kindly glance at me with your causeless mercy. If you do so, I can be relieved from sinful activities brought about by insulting you. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that by offending a Vaishnava, one finishes all his spiritual activities. Offending a Vaishnava is considered the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can destroy an entire garden, which has been developed with great labor. One may attain the topmost platform of devotional service, but somehow or other, if he offends a Vaishnava, the whole structure collapses. Unconsciously, King Rahugana offended Jadabharat, but due to his good sense, he asked to be excused. This is the process by which one can be relieved from Vaishnava Aparadh. Krishna is always very simple by nature, very simple and by nature merciful. When one commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava, one must immediately apologize to such a personality so that his spiritual advancement may not be hampered. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanachakshalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bir Krishnadas Goswami Niti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So we'll read the translation one more time. Whatever you have spoken appears to me to be contradictory. O best friend of the distressed, I have committed a great offense by insulting you. I was puffed up with false prestige due to possessing the body of a king. For this I have certainly become an offender. Therefore, I pray that you kindly glance at me with your causeless mercy. If you do so, I can be relieved from sinful activities brought about by insulting you. So I'll stop sharing the screen. Welcome everyone on today's topic, which is indicating on Vaishnava Aparadh. So the text says, the text here is, please be merciful. King Rahugana is asking for mercy from Jadabharat due to the offense that he has committed. So the chapter begins here with Jadabharat being forced to carry the palanquin, and his erratic movements while he was walking. Jadabharat, he's being very compassionate to the ants, checked every 3 feet not to step on them. And due to this, the palanquin was shaking, and this agitated the king, and he asked for a reason. And the other palanquin carriers became afraid of punishment and thus spoke, "We are not negligent and we are not discharging your orders improperly." So, but this new man who's here, he's not. So the others have been blaming Jadabharat to of all the offense that Jadabharat here is making. And Rahugana then criticizes Jadabharat's silence. He says that you must be fatigued, in a very sarcastic way, you must be fatigued from carrying the palanquin alone for so long and so far, and you must be old and unhealthy without strong limbs. Are your fellow carriers not cooperating with you, or have you been carrying this for so long? And Jadabharat responds to them. His spiritual power is covered like fire, uh, covered by ashes, and he was unaffected as usual because he has no bodily conception of I and mine. He because he's a self-realized person. When Rahugana noticed that the palanquin was shaking, uh, he got angry. Are you dead? Don't you know that I'm your master? You are mad. These words, I shall punish you, were taken from a very bodily conception. And Rahugana, being under the bodily conception of being a king, was influenced by the mode of passion and goodness. Jadabharat, being a powerful devotee, never said a word, and he's he's presented to us as dull, and he's also presented to us as self-realized. So in both cases, if you tell anything to a dull person, it just makes no sense. If you tell something to a self-realized person, nothing affects them. So Jadabharat was very powerfully standing there, free from pride, and a friend of all living entities. Therefore, he smiled and he spoke that I am a soul detached from the body, and bodily designations do not apply to the soul. And material positions are very conventional. I am self-realized. Jadabharat's attitude here was very humble and soft. And he tolerated Rahugana's harsh words. And he did not reply harshly back. He did not reply in an argument or saying that, who are you to say this to me? You don't know who I am. His position was very self-realized, yet he had no material identification. So why did he actually need to respond to Rahugana's words in a very humble way? And why did now Jadabharat actually say things to? Because His stepbrothers treated him bad. His other people, the dacoits, took him to the Mother Kali. He did not speak a word there. This is very intriguing. How and why Jada Bharat is speaking here. This is to destroy Rahugana's prarabdha karma that is stopping him to become a devotee, of enjoying royal wealth and power, and by mercifully teaching him the process of bhakti. And due to his Jada Bharat being self-realized and due to his natural humility that is produced due to prema that he have for every living entity, Jada Bharat did not consider himself as a great devotee, and therefore he was never ever proud of himself. And he thought that he's himself destroying his own karma. He is very humble here. And Rahugana's reaction here comes as when he sees that he has, because Rahugana has faith in the topics of absolute truth. He's not completely in the mode of passion and ignorance. He's also in the mode of goodness. Therefore, he humbly submits, and that mode of goodness comes here in play. And he says that I fear offending the Brahmanas. Please explain your words. What is the most secure shelter in this world? And are you wandering in disguise to examine the people of this world? And then he asks some questions. Um, uh, so as we come here from 21, verse number 21, Rahugana's inquiries on Jada Bharat's reply seems to be that questions about Jada Bharat, arguments that he weren't fatigued. The soul appears fatigued. Although the soul is different from the body, the soul appears to be fatigued due to bodily labor, like carrying the palanquin. One cannot carry water with a false pot. So one must accept the conventional world that they are in. And in verse number 22, an example of pot on fire was given. By heating the pot, milk in the pot becomes hot and the rice within the milk gets cooked. Similarly, due to bodily pains and pleasures, the senses, mind, and soul are affected. And the questions of impermanence of the master servant relationship was also mentioned here in verses 22, 23a. So duty, even if impermanent, even if the king's position is temporary, it is the duty to rule and punish the disobedient citizens, and thus teach the citizens to obey the state laws. Punishing is not useless, and therefore, please be merciful. This section talks about, in this section, Rahugana is saying, I have committed a great offense by insulting you. I was puffed up with false prestige due to possessing the body of a king. So, due to possessing the body of a king, this is very important point here. Now, in this, Rahugana, even though he's seeking forgiveness from Jada Bharat, he's admitting very nicely that he is puffed up with the false prestige due to possessing the body of a king. So the result of his being puffed up is he has the material designation here, the body of a king. Even Kunti Maharani in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 8, verse number 26, talks about Janma Aishwarya, anyone who has got beauty. Let me pull that verse up here. Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edan Edhamana Madhapuman Naivar Hati Abhidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. O my Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but not by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. In the purport here, the four principles, there are the four principles of material advancement. These four principles are high parentage, good wealth, high education, attractive beauty. These are the disqualifications for progress in the path of spiritual advancement. Now, this does not mean that anyone who has not got these are pure devotees of the Lord. These they don't possess, anyone who don't possess material designations like these four are not pure devotees. But people who become puffed up with this pride of having wealth, intelligence, beauty, designation cannot pray to the Lord because they have the material security. And that because of material security that they are holding, there's insincerity towards the prayers, and because of the pride that they are holding, and they are very much unaware of the temporary nature of the world, and that is the result why someone becomes puffed up. They are not desperate, they are because they have the material security of life, or material security, or can say the security of material life. So because they are proud and puffed up, they offend people. And when they offend, they don't come easily to the path of devotional service. So here in Jada Bharat's story, we see that Vaishnavas, even in the verses before and the chapters before, the Vaishnavas cannot tolerate the insult of other Vaishnavas. Like in an example of Mother Kali, Vaishnava Prad here hurts the heart of the Lord. So here Mother Kali was actually protecting the other Vaishnava, Jada Bharat. And here Rahugana chastising Jada Bharat, speaking sarcastically to Jada Bharat, insulting him, and still Jada Bharat is walking carefully, taking care of the ants. Indicates the soft heart of the Vaishnava. So here he's not trying to prove himself. Jada Bharat is not trying to prove himself that he is a self-realized devotee, of pure devotee. Therefore, it is an insult to talk to him like that. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says or comments, why does Jada Bharat speak now? Because most of us may have this question, that why was a need for Jada Bharat to speak now when every other instance he has kept quiet. He didn't open his mouth in front of unqualified persons. And King here, even though he was in the mode of passion and ignorance, he's still in the mode of goodness, for the reason that he was qualified to hear. At least he's aware that what he has done. That awareness brings him to the mode of goodness. As Krishna instructed Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna could instruct Duryodhana as well, because he was more of a fallen condition than anybody. But Krishna instructed the qualified persons who can actually understand So, and sincere. So, in even the purports of Srila Prabhupada, in introduction of Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada mentions that we should hold that sincerity that Arjuna is holding in his heart. And therefore, because he's sincere, and he very well know that his unconsciously Rahugana has offended Jadabharat, um, and because of his good sense, he realizes his mistake. Now, here I pray that you kindly glance at me with your causeless mercy, because I am the offender. If you do so, I can be relieved from sinful activities brought about by insulting you. Rahugana here is not worried about sinful activities. That's a way of saying. But sinful activities would mean here that offending, here Srila Prabhupada in the purport writes, offending a Vaishnava is considered a mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can destroy an entire garden which has been developed with great labor. Now, it's quite interesting because all our chanting, sadhana, uh, all our performance that, I must not use the word performance, all our activities that are adding to our lives of devotional service is also to see that we grow in that. Like, for example, good behavior. Um, how do I say that? So let's put it this way. Uh, all our chanting, all our chanting and other sadhana here is to see, let's take an example, that to see how we don't respond, or how we respond and not react to something in the spur of moment, for example, an argument. So this means that somewhere down the line here, the immediate reaction and the immediate response tells us how grounded we are in our chanting and sadhana. Or I'm using chanting and sadhana differently because uh, chanting being part of our sadhana, however, chanting defines what kind of sadhana we are having. So, good behavior and proper etiquette is expected of us as practicing devotees. And in the spur of moment, those spur of moments decides how our behavior is. And that also depends on the value system that we are holding and the beliefs that we hold. So sometimes, however, due to lack of maturity or reacting to a spontaneous mistake, because we are humans and errors do happen with as humans, it is important that after a mistake has been committed, we realize that we have committed a mistake and we admit and we rectify and we apologize. That is the second best choice. First being not to commit any reaction in those spur of moments where an offense may happen. So the worst situation, an offense happens when someone commits a mistake and then justifies the mistake without realizing how much damage one can do to the other without rectifying. So here Rahugana is a simple-hearted devotee who has immediately realized his mistake. Srila Prabhupada in his writings has given us in many places, he has given us instances, he's given us stories through which we can save ourselves from this mad elephant offense. Now, mad or elephant offense is like destroying the Bhakti Lata beach in our hearts. When Bhakti Lata beach is planted, it becomes very important to water it with nourishing Shravanam Kirtanam, so that the beach, the seed, grows healthier day by day. Therefore, association of devotees, association of like-minded devotees is mentioned. So protecting the Bhakti Lata beach is like fencing with good qualities, which we call Vaishnav qualities. So Vaishnav qualities, to be a Vaishnav, one must have Vaishnav qualities as well. For example, humility, respectful qualities like such. So the mad elephant offense or mad elephant offense here means that mad elephant can destroy the entire garden which has been developed with great labor. So that fence that we have created due to the um, due to the what the elephant does, he crosses the fence, breaks the fence, and actually destroys the garden. So this is what mad elephant offense means, that it is our prime duty to actually commit, to actually be aware of not committing offenses at anyone's cost or to anyone. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see a lot of examples of offending devotees as compared to elephant uh, bathing in clean water, bathing in mud after clean water, and also committing the mad elephant offense. I'll just take one example here. Ramachandra Khan, who tried to defame Haridas Thakur by sending a prostitute who became envious. He was so envious of devotees that due to that, when he had a chance to serve Lord Nityananda, he refused, and he has no place for Lord Nityananda. And Lord is worthy of staying in cowshed, and therefore he was cursed by the Lord. So there are heaps of examples, a lot of examples that are taken under offending a Vaishnava. Now, often in the present, if I bring this to the present day context, we also read here Krishna is always very simple and by nature merciful. So even if we commit offense at the feet of a Vaishnava, one must immediately apologize. And if I bring it to the present day context, where now these days such a serious topic of Vaishnav aparad is taken too lightly or is often misunderstood. We understand, we must know what actually Vaishnava aparad means. It basically refers to offending a devotee, if offending a person who is the devotee of the Lord through speech, through thoughts, or through actions. And it is considered one of the most spiritually damaging actions. Why? Because in our hearts, the Bhakti Lata beach is destroyed. It is not being nourished. So it's a self-damage that happens. Even in Padma Puran, it is said that even if one worships Vishnu with great devotion, if one offends a Vaishnava, that devotion is destroyed, just as a drop of poison in milk ruins the whole thing. Now, what is Vaishnava Aparadh? That can be like 10 offenses towards chanting and 10 offenses. There's 10 offenses to the Vaishnavas as well. Criticizing devotees, considering them ordinary people, disobeying the guru, criticizing scriptures or exaggerating one's own knowledge, interpreting scriptural glories and using it for personal gains, or devotional service as an exaggeration, uh, giving mundane interpretations, considering chanting the holy names is very ordinary and ineffective, and acting against the rules of scriptures, instructing faithless people, because by them something will happen. They will say something in an unaware state, and then remaining attached to material things even after understanding the truth of material life. Why are they actually taken lightly? Why is everyone using this word Vaishnava Aparadh? Oh, that's a Vaishnava Aparadh. Actually, it is in spiritual circles these days, the external practices is very much emphasized more than internal purity. And internal purity, people don't judge. So people may judge or gossip about others in the name of truth or clarity, and they forget humility and compassion. I'm saying they, it includes me too. Also, some words are very randomly and lightly being used, like because of social media and public forums, that's making it really easy to speak things harshly and casually in this spur of moments that we were talking about. And also, most of us lack proper training in bhakti etiquettes, like the Vaishnav Sadachar or Bhakti Vaishnav etiquettes. And we don't have guidance. We don't actually go and ask what our spiritual masters. And there's always this mindset of I know better and I am senior, can also blind people from the humility that is needed to avoid this offense. Uh, it is not something that Krishna definitely is hurt, and because Krishna sits in our heart, Krishna sitting in our heart actually gets hurt because of our behavior. Therefore, the block happens in the progress of bhakti, even if we've been chanting for years and years and years. And that results in the cause of spiritual fall down, or you can also say losing the taste in the holy name. And it's very, very hard to rectify unless one apologizes. So here, even in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada again and again says, when one commits an offense at the feet of Vaishnava, one must immediately apologize. So apologize and is forgiven by the devotee that is offended. Now, even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita had been instructing on and on about the fear of offending the devotees and what to talk of advanced devotees. He himself avoided situations where devotees could be offended, and he advised the same to others. So, in this purport, we are getting the remedy to accept, apologize, and genuinely repent over it. Seek blessings and forgiveness of the offended devotees, and chanting sincerely and praying for forgiveness and praying to the holy name for purification. If it's very difficult to apologize that particular person, we can chant sincerely and ask for purification. And then cultivate humility, patience, and respect for all. It comes as one of our very, very important verses where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes the importance of being humble. Trinada Pisunichena. There's this one very interesting aspect of why, first of all, we commit gossip, we commit Vaishnava aparads, because we engage ourselves in gossips, comparisons, and pride. When we are engaged in gossiping, something definitely will pollute our mind. If we compare, we will degrade ourselves or we will degrade the others. And if we think that I am better, it creates pride. So, anyways, these things are not really great for practicing devotional service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that even thinking negatively about a devotee or judging someone's sincerity or judging someone's devotional level is considered offensive in spirit. So this is very important. Also, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also mentions that don't try to see God. Act in such a way that God will want to see you. How? By not finding faults in others and finding faults in your own heart. There are multiple stories in the Srimad Bhagavatam about Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni, Daksha, intentional and unintentional stories where Vaishnava Aparadh is committed and therefore the results come as the spiritual downfall. So I will stop here. If there's anything, any comment, anything anyone wants to speak, please feel free. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam.
Thank you very, very much for striking the string, which is very, very important in our spiritual advancement. That is what the text is talking about, is the Vaishnava Aparadha. Here in the story, we can see how King Rahugana offended Jadavar in the whole story. But finally, he could understand his mistake because Jadavarat was a very, very exalted devotee of the Lord. So, by offending a exalted devotee of the Lord, which creates is the Vaishnava Aparadha. So, how Vaishnava in the sequence of 10 aparadhs, we know that first one is the topmost one, and which is very, very important for all us to understand that what are the sources of this Vaishnava Aparadha. Very beginning comes with the criticization. If you start criticizing, there are three ways to criticize. It can be with mind, body, and word. So whatever we think, even in silent also, nobody can listen it. Still it becomes an aparadha, as you mentioned through the stories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we need to be very, very cautious in dealing with the devotees, not even devotees, every human being or every living entity rather, because Lord stays in the heart of everyone's heart. So to respect every living entity is an opportunity to avoid Vaishnava Aparadha. So here in also the same way, King Rahuguna understood because he is also a devotee of the Lord. He finally understood the problem he made out of Vaishnava Aparadha, and he knew the way how to get it resolved. So he immediately came down from the palanquin and started begging to Jadabharat for his offenses. So this is the way how we can rectify ourselves by straightforwardly approaching the person who we are insulting or having Vaishnava Aparadha and beg for mercy. And that is the subject talking about in this text. Thank you so much for explaining this so nicely to comprehend that the importance of Krishna Vaparan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. This is so beautiful. Actually, for the lower purposes, we are forgetting the higher purpose.
Yeah.
We can, if there's nothing else anyone wants to say, I can conclude with a prayer, a very short prayer, meditative prayer, and then we can conclude if you like.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. So we can bring Krishna to our heart and request for whatever we have committed, to nullify and help us grow in our devotional life. So, dear Lord, please protect me from offending your devotees. If I've knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me and help me make amends. Let me always honor those who love you and serve them with humility. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay.
Anybody else got any reflection to share before we end?
Yes, Prabhu.
Let's just see, Mataji, so we end here. Vancha kalpatarubhasya
नानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। राधा पद्मा माता की जय।
प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल।
Praise to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely,
Hare
wonderful
Krishna,
day.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.